The PM tells UB students gas prices will continue to go up. And a fish kill in the New River again. What's causing it and who's to blame? Well, we got the answer from the Chief Environmental Officer. Also, the BSCFA facing a tough choice tonight with $11 million on the line. You'll hear why. Legal experts are warning Northern Cane farmers that a new settlement deal could be a multi-million-dollar mistake. Plus, 3 tacos for $1. It's been the price forever, but no more tonight. We'll tell you how increases in the price of everything are forcing taco vendors to hike up the price. And we'll take you to a retro arcade room that's straight out of the 80s, but it's right in the heart of the city. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Wednesday, March 18th, 2025. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
At Cellular World, we believe technology shouldn't just be functional. It should make your home uniquely yours. Design your smart home with the full range of Samsung appliances and TVs. Equip your kitchen with smart and stylish fridges, advanced microwaves, and whisper-quiet dishwashers, bringing smart living to the heart of your home. Make daily tasks simple with efficient smart washers, powerful dryers, or an all-in-one laundry hub that adapts to your lifestyle. Experience true-to-life colors and spot-on sound with the Samsung Q LED Smart TV. Connect all your spaces instantly with the Smart Thing app for seamless control wherever you go. Get all your Samsung products today with the peace of mind that only the 1-year warranty from the authorized distributor can give you. So stop by your favorite location and start designing your smart home today. Only at Cellular World.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
especially from the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
$4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocaribe. And another $4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. $16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with Petrocaribe in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another $85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially from the United States. We need equipment, we need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
Fans are filling up the gyms to see exciting NEBL games. And this weekend, Week 5 showcase 3 mega matchups. On Friday night, the Belize City Defenders try to keep the Corozal Spartans winless with a must-win game to stay in the hunt for the 70K at the Belize Civic Center. Then on Saturday night, another mega showdown at the Belize Civic Center as the number 2 team, the Fighting Tiger Sharks, goes up against the rough and tough Dan Grigga Dream Ballers in a war. And in Cayo at the Victor Galvez Stadium, who run the West as the rolling Cayo Western Ballers goes up against the Belmopan Trojans. The NEBL girls giveaways along with the National Sports Council halftime $5,000 shooting challenge. So this weekend, make it another NEBL weekend sponsored by the government of Belize.
First name Tifa.
Who thief Budna? Anybody know? Who thief Budna? Who beat her? Who abduct her? Who carry her across this country?
It violated his Belizean constitutional rights. The investigation was less than nothing.
But I was also expecting that there would have been nothing in the file. What I was not expecting was that there would be less than nothing in the file.
Now the PM wants him back.
See if from government to government ask for Budna to be returned to Belize.
So who thief Budna?
I was beaten badly.
Does this mean that the PM knows?
Well, that allegation has been done from the very start.
Is the PM trying to correct a wrong done by his administration?
If you thief her, I can know who thief her.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
Especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
but Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
Imagine, a ref calls a technical on LeBron, ejects him, then walks to the bench, puts on a jersey, and checks into the game to take LeBron's place. WTH? That's what happened at the central bank. First, Kareem Michael was a deputy governor for financial supervision, basically the referee for the banks. And while he was in charge of that department, Choice Banks' license was cancelled. Not too long after, Mr. Michael resigned from the central bank and went as a paid private contractor to run the shutdown of the same Choice Bank. When he was finished, he simply walked right back into his old job at the central bank. Who does that? An arrogant Belizean public servant who knows all and thinks he's too big for his judgment to be questioned by anyone.
My name is Mrs. Esther Smith. I'm a co-owner of A Glimpse of Paradise gift shop here at Altoona, booth number 13. And me and my husband have to offer some of the most finest wood products here in Belize, all hand done by him. And these products are made from some of the most beautiful, finest and hardest wood here in our country. I first started at Atlantic Bank as, went there to start a saving account. From there, I have my checking account with the POS machine. And then it becomes more like a family to me because there are personnel from Atlantic Bank that will always come here, check with us, make sure everything is okay, clean our machine, and they will always ensure that we have bundles. My advice to anybody that wants to choose Atlantic Bank to be their bank is that don't be afraid. You won't have any regret. Atlantic Bank, you will find them to be very efficient, reliable, and competent.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
In the heart of Belize, a battle is being waged, not with weapons, but with choices. When waste is disposed of in unauthorized locations, in our forests, drains, and waterways, along our highways, and in vacant lots, this is illegal dumping. The consequences reach far beyond what we see. Toxic chemicals seep into our groundwater, threatening our drinking water. Disease-carrying mosquitoes breed in abandoned tires, and wildlife mistake our waste for food. For over a decade, the Department of Environment has worked tirelessly to clean up these sites. But they can't do it alone. They need your help, and now taking action is easier than ever. Download the ArcGIS Survey 123 app to your phone. You can report illegal dump sites. The app records the location, allows you to add photos. Simply open the app, allow location access, fill in basic details about the site, add a photo, and submit. Your report helps us protect our communities and natural resources. Every report matters. Every action counts. Stand proud in protecting our nation. Our belief, our responsibility. Bini.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Students at UB's main campus in Belmopan had a chance to directly ask the Prime Minister their burning questions today. PM Bruseni was a guest lecturer on national leadership, economic development, and opportunities for Belize's future. And after his 30-minute presentation, the floor was opened for questions. The students asked about the economy, inflation, the proposed smart acquisition, education, and more. But one of the messages that stood out from the PM's answers is that those gas prices that are currently causing pain across the populace, well, buckle up, because they're only going to go higher. Here is a snippet of the PM's Q&A section.
What concrete steps are being taken to raise wages and improve the overall standard of living? Is it the same measures that you guys have previously taken, or are there new measures being implemented now that it is 2026 and prices are going up?
I think I've already answered the question, but let me quickly say once again that we do not control the cost of goods that come into the country. We import everything. And there are only certain things that we can do to be. We have not raised taxes, by the way, because then we can't say, okay, we raise taxes and they're creating that. We recognize the challenge with the cost of living. It's something that's affected worldwide. And I'm sorry to give you the bad news, but right now it's going to get worse because of the war in Iran. We have nothing to do with that. But look, price of diesel has already, the fuel has gone up, and the next shipment is going to go up more, and we have no control over that. All we can do is to be able to try to get people working. We're looking at increasing the minimum wage to $6. When we do that, then we hope that salaries will be able to go up a little bit all around. But then government then has to be more active in its social programs, where they could help, especially those that need.
I saw a report from BTL about the positive effects of this acquisition, such as infrastructure, community development, and more employment. But what would be the negative consequences on our economy for consumers and the telecommunications sector?
We have our cable companies, and we started off with a small cable company, and we ended up buying everybody, all the cable companies in the north, from the Halover Bridge all the way to the free zone, because we wanted to be able to, we want that cash flow. Respectfully, due to Jules Vasquez, who didn't make a lot of noise, we bought his father's cable company in Orange Walk. We paid his company, his father, $350,000 for his cable company. Do you know what we got? Nothing. We didn't even get one pen. But what we got is their customers. All we did is disconnect the customer from Fuden's system and put them into our system. In effect, we were buying cash flow. And that's what businesses do to be able to grow. But on the negatives, you could say lack of competition, but the truth of the matter is that you have the Public Utilities Commission, and one of the responsibilities of the Public Utilities Commission is to be able to ensure that these utility companies do not take advantage of the public, and that when they price their products, it is priced in such a way that they are not taking advantage of the consumers or of their customers. So maybe that's about the only thing, the downside I think that I can see.
The Lecture Plus question and answer finished at about 5 p.m. and you can find a link to the entire event on the UB Facebook page. Tonight, the Department of Environment is investigating another fish kill in sections of the New River in the Orange Walk district. It's gotten so bad that the stench of decaying fish has been wafting into the town as well. So what's causing it? And who's to blame? Today, the Chief Environmental Officer, Anthony Mai, told us that the fish kill appears to be linked to extremely low levels of dissolved oxygen in the river.
And the Department of Environment has been responding to fish kills in that particular area for many years. We responded to this fish kill, and we have collected data, and so we have a fair enough idea of what's the possible cause. And as you know, in 2019, the river underwent a state of eutrophication, which degraded the water quality and the ecosystem to a bad level. In fact, it was all over the news. Everyone knows about that particular incident. And since then, so we have been doing works before that, but since then we've ramped up the monitoring and activities within the particular watershed. So we have done a significant amount of activities to reduce the threats and pressures to the New River. And so we went out on Monday, March 16th, and we collected data. And the data that we have shows that the dissolved oxygen from the toll bridge all the way to San Esteban and 3 miles past San Esteban, the dissolved oxygen was extremely low in all the different sites that we sampled. So the way we conduct our sampling is we conduct sampling in terms of the column, the water column. So we take measurements at surface, 5 feet, and at 10 feet. And then we also do the left and right side of the river. So we do that for each site. And we had a sampling site at the toll bridge. We had one at an area we call, by Maracas, we call Lamanai River Tours. We had one in front of LNR's liquor, one in front of BSI's, the Belcogen's discharge, one in front of BSI's discharge. We had one in the middle of Orange Walk Town, one by the San Esteban Bridge, one in Trial Farm, one in San Esteban, and then the final one 3 miles downstream from San Esteban. And from all the samplings that we did and all the tests, we could observe that the dissolved oxygen was extremely low. We have data to show that the dissolved oxygen, for example, in the middle of Orange Walk Town was around 0.54 milligrams per liter, right? And so from an ecological standpoint, any aquatic ecosystem becomes stressed when the dissolved oxygen is at 3 micrograms per liter and below.
The Department of the Environment said the issue was first reported around March 10th and appears to have persisted for roughly a week before conditions began showing signs of improvement. The department also recorded elevated levels of chlorophyll, indicating increased algae growth. Excess algae can consume large amounts of oxygen in the water. When asked if the dry season will cause this issue to continue and potentially worsen, Mai said he just cannot confirm that as yet.
So we believe that the high level of, well, again, the growing levels of algae at the lower end of the river may have depleted some of the water, causing the fish kill. Well, it's difficult to say because, again, nature equalizes itself slowly over time, right? What I could tell you is that we have had significant intervention in terms of the type of and the source of pollution that goes into the river, right? So from a pollution management standpoint, we have what they call the point source of discharge and non-point sources of discharge. So the non-point sources of discharge are difficult to identify and to measure because the pollution is diffused into the aquatic ecosystem. So in terms of New River, farther upstream from Marine Rock, there's a lot of agricultural activities. And the farmers farther up north, they use nitrates and phosphates or fertilizers. And the fertilizers, when it rains, rushes into the river, right, and gets into the river. So it's difficult to measure and to pinpoint exactly where and how it is entering into the aquatic ecosystem.
And so with the dry season upon us, can we expect that this will worsen?
Like I said, it's a possibility, and it's difficult to say, because what we have observed is since 2019, when it was at its worst point, the river has been rebounding, right? So we see the fish kills being less frequent and less intense. So this fish kill was not as bad as some of the fish kills that we had to deal with in the past, right? That means or suggests to us that the river is slowly coming back to equilibrium, coming back to a level where it could at least remain or maintain some level of healthiness.
The Department of the Environment will continue monitoring the river and analyzing samples to better understand the conditions that led to the latest fish kill. We also sought an update from Chief Environmental Officer Mai on the status of the fuel vessel anchored off Big Creek Port, a situation that remains in limbo as authorities appear undecided on how to proceed. Customs and the Department of the Environment bear the primary responsibility for clearing or rejecting the vessel and bringing charges against the crew if it broke the rules, which did happen. So, why has nothing happened after so many days in Belizean waters? Well, that's what we asked Mai today.
Just to shift gears a bit, we know that there was a boat with oil that came into the country, and the importer, the clearance didn't follow the different conditions that came along with it. And so they were held accountable for the violation, whatever. And so do you have any update on this that you can give to us?
Unfortunately, right now, I don't have any update. It's an ongoing issue that we're looking into.
Okay, and so is it still being investigated into? Are the person still held? Should we expect any charges?
It's difficult to say right now, and I wouldn't want to comment on it. Yeah, it's difficult to say.
All right.
As we understand it, authorities are finding it difficult to confidently connect anyone or company to the vessel and its cargo. Tonight, the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association is under pressure to settle a massive legal dispute with BSI and Tate and Lyle Sugars. The proposed deal would force farmers to abandon an $11 million claim for unpaid fair trade premiums without receiving a single cent in compensation. And getting into the mix on the side of the multinational is a government of Belize which has offered a $1 million fertilizer package to encourage a signature on that settlement. In a letter to the BSCFA, Prime Minister John Briceño has pledged $1 million in fertilizer over 2 years, along with monthly operational support for the association. However, that assistance is strictly contingent on the BSCFA dropping its legal claims against BSI and Tate & Lyle Sugars. Now, while the Prime Minister frames this as a path towards industry stability, the association is caught between immediate relief and the legal battle for those many millions in unpaid premiums. The BSCFA has signaled it is willing to talk, but they are demanding tangible recognition of what is owed rather than walking away empty-handed. The association's attorney at Young and Company have presented a formal legal option and opinion saying the settlement offers zero compensation for those past losses and could give the sugar companies the power to withhold future payments with impunity. This comes after the High Court ruled last July that the farmers do have the right to sue the multinational companies right here in Belizean courts. So, is the proposed settlement agreement a trap for cane farmers? That is the question as the BSCFA reviews the proposal, which we understand has the association divided this evening. They went into a meeting to discuss the proposal, and Vice President Fred Ortega spoke to CTV3 News when he came out a short while ago, and here's how he put it.
Really and truly, it does not bring any good benefit to our farmers. It brings and it contains what they have presented to us from 2021 when we started with this agreement with BSI. We thought that there would have been changes to that letter, but nothing that is in there will benefit the farmers because what they're asking for is for us to remove the court case that we have, and not only that, but for future days to come that we won't be able to go to court or to fight for our rights.
What is the leadership of the association saying at this point in time, the committee of management?
Well, there are some of us that are not in agreement with that, Ms. Kami, because we have seen that it will not be beneficial to our farmers. Nevertheless, most of the leaders have approved that we hold a general meeting, an emergency meeting this coming Sunday, on which we are not stopping that to happen. But what we would want is our farmers to really analyze and understand what the implications are if they agree to that letter that have been sent to us to forego the court case and to forego everything, even the premium. So that is what we would want our farmers to clearly understand before taking any decision.
Ortega says the entire membership of the BSCFA would have to decide on any issue like this, and so we'll continue to follow this story. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have details on that fatal shooting in Kamaloti yesterday. It appears to have been accidental. And tacos price, like everything else, it's going up. We'll talk to one hardworking taco vendor about why she puts on a surcharge. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Get your body sculpted with gym equipment and accessories from Benny's. Quality and savings.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
Especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
$4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to PetroCaribe. And another $4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. $16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with PetroCaribe in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another $85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially for the United States. We need equipment, we need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. We continue to serve you.
In a democracy, what is good for the government cannot be bad for the people. And what is good for the people cannot be bad for the government.
We came a long way. It's like over 16 years that it was basically like 2-3 houses in that area.
It was wild.
One high bush
like jungle. I want to take my lick. Say no water, no light. I tell her no worry about that. We have figured it out.
You know, you wonder how long it will take for this to happen.
A year ago, you were considered squatters.
We made a picado and we came in.
I made a teenager.
Everybody said it was swamp, it was swamp. When we get in here, it was like gold.
Today, you're landowners.
Very
this that for we, and we proud of this.
Now we're claiming our house on the land.
We have worked so hard to make this happen for us.
This is a beautiful day, folks, because we are taking care of the people who have taken care of us. Because we wouldn't be here today without you.
I'm Randolph Friesen, and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high-quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high-quality, locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, you know, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Last night, we reported on a 21-year-old who appears to have fatally shot himself in Kamalote village. The victim has been identified as Andy Swazo, a rapper and call center agent. The details surrounding the shooting are puzzling to police, and our team headed out west to find out why. Jaleesa Roberts filed this report.
Police are investigating the puzzling circumstances surrounding the death of 21-year-old Andy Swazo, a dancehall artist who went by the artist name of Anga.
Push them, running with the long gun, we roll with it, straight too long.
or it a fly with your door.
Shortly after 4 p.m. yesterday in Kamalota village, police received information that a man was rushed to the Western Regional Hospital with gunshot wounds. Initial investigations revealed that around 3:30, Swazo left his mother's home in Kamalota village and visited a friend and told that he had a firearm. He then showed him a silver pistol. While handling the weapon, the firearm reportedly jammed. The friend told police that he warned Swazo that the pistol appeared to be malfunctioning. However, Swazo allegedly continued trying to unjam the weapon when he shot himself. A friend's mother then rushed him to the Western Regional Hospital, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead on arrival. His family refused to speak to us today. His friend later told police that after the incident, he removed the pistol from the house because he did not want his parents to become involved. Investigators later processed the scene where one live round of ammunition was recovered. The friend also reportedly led police to the location where the firearm had been hidden. It was retrieved along with 6 live rounds of ammunition and taken by police as evidence. Police have detained 5 men as investigations continue. Delisa Roberts, 7 News.
We'll let you know if and when anyone is charged. A rape conviction has been upheld by the Court of Appeal. In September of 2018, Pomona Village resident Albert Williams was charged for 1 count of rape where he allegedly assaulted a woman outside her home on the Pomona Road and raped her outside her house and then dragged her inside and stole her personal items. In March 2022, he was convicted in a trial by Justice Antoinette Moore, who was convinced by the evidence provided by the Crown. But he took the matter to appeal where, today, it was dismissed and his conviction and sentence for rape was affirmed. Today, Gales Point resident Austin Myers walked into the Hatterville police station to turn himself in. That's after this wanted poster was issued. But Myers says he didn't commit the crime he's accused of. In fact, he says that while he's wanted for a stolen boat, he was busy planting mangroves in Gales Point, Manatee when the incident happened. He says he's being targeted and harassed by the police. We spoke with him and his attorney today.
They already picked me up for something what I does do, and they had me there for 3 days at the station, and they don't have no evidence about that boat thing that's missing. I doesn't know nothing about that because I was planting mangrove that whole week. Me and my rest and colleagues them in Gales Point, Manatee. They just want to frame me for something what I do though. Affect me very bad because that the thing that I do, I'll show the kids them what to do in Gales Point, Manatee for mangrove to grow. I had like about 7 or 8 kids with me planting mangrove. It couldn't continue because of my mangrove to die because I got to water it like nearly every day in that timing. I asking for peace from the police.
This situation normally is that they would detain people, and in some instances they don't charge. I don't know what the position is because I have not been able to reach any police officer from Hatterville. The one person I spoke to wasn't too polite, and there are some officers who would give a little information to assist the attorneys in making a decision as to how to move, but this one wasn't so cooperating. So that is the position where we are. He has to turn himself in, and they will surely detain him, and he understands that they want to charge him for something. But he said he knows that he has not committed any crime or offense, and the one involvement with police he has had so far is that they detained him for a certain period of time and released him, and he believes that is the same reason they want to detain him again.
The issue here for me personally is that Austin isn't just my brother, he's my worker and practically the face of my business. And we do tourism. The impact of having a wanted poster for the face of a small business, it's extreme. It's very terrible. The tourism industry is already not great. And something like that really deters clients. The issue with the stolen boat, I really don't see that's something Austin is capable of. But beyond that, it has been very hard to get information from the police department in regards to what the charges are. It's either contradicting information or no information at all.
We'll let you know if and when he is criminally charged. If you're a shopper, head of household, or just a regular working person, you'll know that when prices go up, they rarely, if ever, come down. And that's the reality that food vendors are grappling with, facing constantly rising costs, which inevitably trickle down to consumers. And now, it's directly affecting the most affordable street food in Belize, basic chicken tacos. Today, we sampled some street-side tacos, and Jaleesa Roberts spoke to the vendor who travels 65 miles by bus daily just to make a living.
Tacos, the once $3 for $1 most affordable breakfast option, is now not quite as budget-friendly. Some regular chicken tacos are now going $2 for $1. As a middle ground, one popular vendor has chosen to add 25 cents to every order, kind of like a service charge. It's not what people are used to, but the surcharge is a middle ground.
If we put it $2 for $1, well, the people won't come and buy. Lot of tacos vendor, they put it $2 for $1, and we hear people here complaining that it is an exaggeration. So we try to not force the people or take off all of the money and just go by shilling on individual order so that we can get something and they can get something too.
This vendor travels from San Jose Village in the Orange Walk district daily. But with the increase in chicken, she's adding the surcharge to cover the rising cost of everything, including chicken, veggies, and tortillas.
It's hitting us hard, yeah. People don't see it like that because they think we sell one lot, but no. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's not raining, and we still have to pay what we order, like what is chicken, what is corn, what is vegetables, our passage. So it's really sucks.
But despite the costs increasing, there's no shortchanging customers on flavor at this popular taco stand on North Front Street. Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
And in other news that's going to force a change in consumer habits, pharmacies are now being forced by strict regulations to require a prescription for all prescription regulations. Now, this may sound like emphasizing the obvious, but the truth is that many prescription meds can be obtained over the counter without a prescription. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is now enforcing regulations on the accessibility of prescription medication. Senior Drug Inspector Samira Gongara says that the measure must be taken to ensure the safe use of medications countrywide.
Prescription drugs that drugs that are prescription have always been prescription drugs. You need a valid prescription to access them from the pharmacy and for it to be dispensed. We have taken the liberty to separate pharmacy sale from general OTC because we know in Belize, in some rural areas, we don't have pharmacies everywhere, like especially down south. So we've put some items on general sale so that these items can be available at grocery store, providing that they're stored at the accurate temperature, not to affect the integrity of the product. So it's nothing new. I mean, as a pharmacist, you know that certain medication, antibiotic control drugs, drugs for NCDs, they require a prescription at all times. If it is, let's say you're a patient with diabetes or hypertension, you should have already enrolled in a clinic. You have a doctor, you have your appointment pretty much every 3 months in the public sector. And even in the private sector, if it is that you're seeing a doctor, you have your appointments that you need to meet whenever your refills are up. So let's say you're on your metformin as a diabetic. After that 3 months is up, you have to make sure that you meet your appointment to see your doctor. Because what it is that you have to make sure, and this is in the best interest of the patient, we need to make sure, or you need to make sure, that the medication that you're taking is working. So in addition to getting your prescription filled, you need to see the doctor every so often, do your diagnostic tests, you need to do your blood works, you need to do your x-ray, ultrasound, to see if it is that the medication that you have been prescribed is working, or the doctor would need to change it to something else that can allow you to be a patient that is controlled and that your illness is controlled. So pretty much that is what we are ensuring, that we have control over the medication and that it is in the best interest of the patient that they get their checks done, and you're not taking a medication forever and ever and you don't know if it's working or you're getting worse.
Today, the National Met Service brought together several stakeholders for a multi-hazard early warning systems workshop. The goal is to move away from reporting on hazards as they're occurring to warning residents in specific areas what may be coming their way. This will allow them to better prepare and to mitigate damage to property. The senior climatologist told us more.
This workshop is co-designing early warning products at different time scales, the weather, today, tomorrow, and also at climate time scales. We have a wide range of stakeholders, and we're basically working with the Columbia University through a project that we have with the United Nations Development Program and also the World Food Program and the Korean government. And basically, Columbia University was hired to help us create hazard maps for different key climate hazards, which includes drought, heat waves, tropical storms, severe thunderstorms, strong winds, etc. This is important because we all know that weather and climate affects all sectors, but it affects each sector, including the general public, in a different way. So we're mapping out how these hazards have impacts on different sectors, and we're also establishing critical thresholds. So for somebody in maybe Belize City to be affected by an excess rainfall event and get flooded, there's a certain rainfall amount that would cause that. So we need to know what those rainfall amounts are in order for us to properly provide early warning to that particular area or community in Belize, so that they're not flooded or they do things to mitigate and prevent like severe flooding. At the Met Office, we traditionally provide weather forecasts, but we're all in the process of moving towards impact-based forecasts. So not just telling persons if it's going to rain or be hot, but what will it affect them. And all of this, these multi-hazard early warning workshops, these different consultancies that we have with Columbia University, World Food Program, and many other agencies are helping us to in our process of developing our 5-year strategic plan. So on the 23rd, on officially World Met Day, we will be hosting a stakeholder consultation in Belmopan at the NEMO office, again with all these key stakeholders, because the work that we do at the Met Service is not just based on what we think that people or different users need, but we're actually letting those users or sectors provide input as to what types of products, what types of services they require, what time scale, how quickly, how accurate do they need that information, so that we can plan and incorporate those and improve some of the current services that we provide to them.
And on Monday, the National Met Service will be having a weather and climate fair at the May Gordon Park in Belmopan to celebrate World Met Day. Tonight, the Forest Department is trying to track another conflict cat, this time in Crooked Tree. This cat has been killing and eating livestock. The Crooked Tree residents are hoping that, like the Jaguar called Henry, this cat can also be captured before they lose any more of their animals. Currently, Henry is still being assessed, and his injuries, including his screwworm infestation, are being tended to. Where he will go next is still unknown at this point. However, there has been contradictory information coming out of the Forest Department and the village. Courtney Menzies took a deeper look at both sides of this story.
There's a lot of misinformation and miscommunication surrounding the recapturing of Henry the Jaguar. According to the Liminal resident whose yard the cage was placed in, the Jaguar was trapped early Sunday morning. She says she immediately contacted the authorities.
Around 5 a.m. Sunday morning, I heard the dog barking ferociously, and it didn't want to stop. When I spot it properly on the cage, direct on the cage, I saw it eating on the dead calf, and I got my phone. I called the man out of Corozal first because I wanted it to move instant. Villagers in the village group chat, the cheerleader came and they saw it. And after that, the villagers started to come because everyone wants to see what was causing them distress. And the jaguar, while it was in that trap, it was quite contented. Only if someone was like looking at it too close, it would get angry.
This video, captured at 5:30 a.m., reflects that. The cat was calm and not agitated. But it would be at least another 2 hours before the CSFI team got to the location. And by then, Anre was antsy.
This one happened so quickly that the CSFI team was in Lemonal by 7 o'clock. I wasn't even awake yet. And they were already there reacting to the situation.
But villagers tell us it was actually after 10 a.m. that the CSFI team got there, which would mean the cat was caged for 5 hours. By this time, the trap was hot and surrounded by villagers. However, Pinello praised the team for capturing the jaguar within 2 days of laying the trap.
We put the cameras and we found out, yes, it was a jaguar. We also got pictures from the community showing us that it was a jaguar. And so what we did then was deploy the camera. In that time where we got the reports and we put the cage, yes, there might have been a delay in the time. But when we did take the cage, there was not much. As I said, there was only 2 days in terms of when we put it there to when we caught it.
But aside from being stuck in a cage for hours, he was also injured, and he may have hurt himself in the small cage. But Pinella also put some blame on the residents.
When we got the animal, its entire face was bleeding, its nose was bleeding, and I was made to understand that people were hitting it with bars in its face. So that might have been one of the reasons for it to break as well. I can't blame anybody. Like I says, any of those two options might be the reason why. But we realize that it does have a canine missing, and that will need to be extracted because if it is left like that, it'll get infected and it can kill the animal.
According to Anthony, however, she did not see the villagers being violent towards the jaguar. And she clarified that the trap was there much longer than Pinella said.
I believe it was when it first got in the cage that it hurt itself because when I was out there, no one was hitting or poking it. I didn't see anyone doing that. But I believe if that happened, because these said that occurred, I believe that was when I went upstairs because I didn't want to see it anymore. I just wanted it to go from out of the yard. We didn't get no disclosure about this animal because they tracked it. They know where it was. Whenever they came in the village, they can tell us directly where the jaguar is situated. Also, because on the Love FM New morning's show, I heard Mr. Pineo. I hope that's the proper pronunciation. He was saying like the trap was set there 1 or 2 days before, but the trap was in the yard from February 25th. So I would just like to clarify that because I don't want no one out there believing that, oh, it was a quick catch. The jaguar refused to go in the cage for quite a period of time.
But Pinella added that while they can set up the cage and monitor the jaguar, they can't force it to go inside.
In rating the situation, I would say that we could have reacted faster in terms of trying to catch the animal. But I will also put a caveat in there that I cannot force the jaguar to go into the cage. We can see him on that GPS tracker moving around, but that doesn't mean we can tell him to get in a cage.
But the community remains concerned that forestry isn't being on the level with them. And when a community meeting on Sunday afternoon was cancelled without notice after the villagers waited an hour for it to start, their misgivings deepened.
I believe that we weren't respected enough. We weren't respected. And that's what is upsetting because they could have notified us that there would have been no meeting yesterday because the Jaguar has been caught, yes, but they could have come, highlight on the don'ts and the do and don'ts, and not only that, they could have told us, give us more information about it. It already gave us hell, so we just wanted to like know. But and yes, they choose not to have the meeting again, but they could have informed the chair lady.
The meeting that was called was for us to explain to them what we were going to do to try and catch the animal. Understand me when I say the animal was caught before the meeting. And so while it is, yes, slip up on us to call and say, you know what, we don't have the meeting again because we're dealing with the cat right now, all of us were scrambling around to try and get this Jaguar out and to try and get the health assessment for it. And so it might have slipped us in informing the chair lady that we would not have the meeting again at least that date.
Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
We'll take a break now, but when we come back, we'll take you to a retro arcade room that's straight out of the 80s, but it's right in the heart of the city. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
Imagine, a ref calls a technical on LeBron, ejects him, then walks to the bench, puts on a jersey, and checks into the game to take LeBron's place. WTH? That's what happened at the central bank. First, Kareem Michael was a deputy governor for financial supervision, basically the referee for the banks. And while he was in charge of that department, Choice Banks' license was cancelled. Not too long after, Mr. Michael resigned from the central bank and went as a paid private contractor to run the shutdown of the same Choice Bank. When he was finished, he simply walked right back into his old job at the central bank. Who does that? An arrogant Belizean public servant who knows all and thinks he's too big for his judgment to be questioned by anyone.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
These days, what can a shilling get you aside from a few candies? Well, it can also buy you a round of games at Retro Zone Arcade. It appears that the game shop era may be making a comeback, and we spoke to the owner and designer of the gaming machines today. Jomari Lanza has this story.
Before the PlayStations, Xboxes, and Nintendo Switches took over the TV in your house, there were arcade zones, or as we call them, game shops. A meetup point for all the kids after school and during summer. But thanks to one man who gave in to his nostalgia for the good old days, he's turned those memories into a business venture of bringing the old game shops back to life.
Growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, I used to always get a Munchies or Lion King. Mama used to come for me out a game shop. Back then, it used to really nice. So I say, when they pick me, then they do to them, I give them a little opportunity to make them got something for do, because nowadays, kids don't really got nothing for do. Yeah, but they idle on the street. But now we got a league game shop. You see them in every day. During lunch, after school, the place always packed.
Joel Westby, the owner of Retro Zone Arcade, located on Central American Boulevard, spent the last month constructing and programming these 4 arcade machines. He says after building the first one, he saw the potential for opening a game shop.
Well, I made a watch a YouTube video about how you build arcade cabinet, and I decided to build one. Me and my pa, we built the first one. Yeah, and then after that, I said, make I open a league game shop. And I built all 4, and then after that,
You did the programming and everything?
everything I do. I build the whole cabinet, put on all the lead edges there where you sit on the arcade program, the button there, everything I do.
And like the old arcade games, all it takes is a few shillings to stay occupied for hours. Westby says it was a favored pastime back then for children and still is now. The kids keep coming in, and so do their dads.
Well, like the arcade game, the old school arcade there, if you put in shilling, you get to play till you're dead. But like the newer games, like have a PlayStation or so, then they go by times. Shilling for 5 minutes. Yeah, so if you want to beat one of them, you have to bring a whole lot of shilling. When it comes to the community, like parents were coming here and so they said that really something nice you do. We like it because we know what path to find with son now. Yeah, once we not here, that game shop with the come. So I usually give them my number for call in case they want to know if their kid there. And then I could find out if their kid there and tell them, well, I saw you there.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? A mother looking all over the neighborhood for her child, only to find them at the game shop with all the other kids. One resident says that the environment Westby has created is one that will keep many children safe and off the streets out of harm's way after school. It's a magical thing that many old retired gamers can relate to.
It might look like one small arcade shop for now, but this is a big look for this neighborhood, because when we grew up in a game shop as well, and they've been missing for a while. So when my brother said that he want to bring back one game shop in the neighborhood, I tell him an excellent idea, because all the kids love gaming, and by having this game shop, it want help kids to, like, when I have one after school program, have one safe environment for spend time in. So I want to invite out all the kids at Port Loyola and this whole south side of Belize, that make their parents know that this is a safe and nice neighborhood for the kids spend time after school.
You remember your days at the corner game shop company?
Of course, I remember my days perfectly, but the only thing I know is sit and leave Pac-Man for now, but we can get that very soon. This is just the first day and just the opening, but we have all the games where the kids they like.
Omari Lanza, 7 News.
The Retro Zone is located right across from 88 Shopping Center. They carry out their duties with passion and often without a thank you or any form of special recognition in return. But today was a day for honoring these women, giving them the spotlight for their contributions towards society and helping others. Jomari Lanza attended the event this morning, and here's how it went.
14 women were honored today at the annual Outstanding Women's Awards across varying sectors for academia, community work, and workforce transformation. The Minister of Gender Affairs underscored the importance of giving women their flowers for embodying excellence.
Well, as usual, this is one of the highlights of Women's Month, in particular for the National Women's Commission. As a previous chair of the commission, I couldn't be more proud that they continue the tradition of honoring women for their hard work, for their contributions to Belizean society, to Belizean development. And so the categories have changed slightly in the last few years, but I think that it's a way of honoring women for from specific sectors, and even the girl child, which I think is very important, up and coming leaders to aspire to showcase what they've done and what they continue to do.
And this year, we also got to hear from the woman, which the executive director from the National Women's Commission says made this year's event special.
The award is 21 years old, which is excellent. You know, we have been doing this for many, many years, awarding women from all over the country for the exceptional work that they're doing. This year is different because if you notice, under the priority area girl child, we had like 5 nominations, 5 awardees, and which shows that not only women, but also our young girls are doing great job within their communities and for this country. And so, you know, we are very proud of that we have included young girls. And again, very high women in education, women not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom who are doing exceptional work. So that's a different. And this year, the awardees, for the first time, they actually spoke, as usually. You know, many are shy, and they don't want to talk. But this year, they were bold and you know, they gave their thanks and so on. So it was very special.
And among the awardees were some of the youngest, like 16-year-old Kelly Pop, who was recognized for her achievements in both charity and extracurriculars.
First, I didn't know I was nominated. I was pulled aside by my mom one morning and she was like, guess what, you won this. And I was just so stoked is the word I can use. I was so excited and truly honored. I am a proud advocate for young women like myself in my community. I do a lot of extracurriculars and I do a lot of community service. Recently, I've been a part of the National Children's Parliament where I won an award for a distinguished member of the House of Representatives. And last year, I did an exchange program to Washington, D.C., where I represented Belize as a leader. So I think that, not to be cocky, but I think that my award was very much deserved. I've worked very hard.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
The women that were awarded by the National Women's Commission for an award were nominated by their peers and select organizations. And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching with your news. I'm Indra Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a pleasant evening. Join me back here tomorrow at 6.